The National Council of Churches of Kenya, Nyanza region, have called on the Kenya Kwanza government to look for alternative sources of collecting revenue, but not increasing taxes that hurts most Kenyans. Led by the NCCK chairperson Nyanza region, John Mark Godia, the church is concerned on how the government is treating Kenyans and imposing heavy taxation on Kenyans at this hard period of economic crisis.
The greatest tragedy of our nation is that justice, professionalism, equity, and equality before the law has been sacrificed at the altar of corruption. Political power is continuously being used for selfish enrichment at the expense of the citizens who are trapped in downward spiral of impoverishment. It is very sad that some government officials at both county and national levels have adopted the horrendous trend of competing with each other as to who is more corrupt than the other. We have become what God describes as a nation headed for destruction, as we read in Micah chapter 3 and verses 11, which says, "Her leaders judge for a bribe, her priests teach for a price, and her prophets tell fortunes for money. Yet they lean upon the Lord and say, Is not the Lord among us? No disaster will come upon us." We now call upon the national and county governments to focus on radical transformation of their mindsets from the hunter-gatherer mentality that pushes them to grab everything in sight. The future of our nation depends on the deliberate measures we take to change from a consumerist mentality to a producer mentality. To achieve this, we, after reflection, do recommend that the government plans and budgets be primarily focused on production and value addition, not just on expenditure for purchase of goods and services. Secondly, we challenge the judiciary, the National Police Service, Parliament, and the executive to end their persistent and meaningless bickering, and let each play their part in taking action against every person who engages in corruption. Let us always remember the warning God gives us in Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verses 11. When the sentence for a crime is not quickly carried out, the hearts of the people are filled with schemes to do wrong. Thirdly, we encourage the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to change strategy and instead focus on instilling ethics and integrity in the citizens by permeating values in the education curriculum at all levels. We call upon all Kenyans to rise up and demand for implementation of Chapter 6 of our Constitution in its entirety. We must unite to root out corruption, bad governance, and lack of integrity from our nation. On our part as a church, we commit to take the period between now and the next election to educate our people on integrity, values, and will integrate the same in all our churches.
Speaking in Kisumu after a two-day meeting that brought together all NCCK church leaders in Nyanza region that is being held yearly to reflect on the state of the nation and to recommend a way forward, John Mark said it is necessary for the government to make sure there is enough food security after floods washed away a number of crops, destroying properties and a number of Kenyans losing their lives.
Despite having arable land, most of our families in our counties are not food secure. Further, those who engage in farming do not always provide the best suited crops for their areas, while using the same techniques and technology as they did 50 years ago. We appeal to our county governments to organize trainings for farmers on innovation and value addition to improve their incomes and welfare. Employ and deploy agricultural field officers to mentor farmers on crop and animal production. Develop initiatives that inspire the youth to embrace agriculture and value addition as dignified livelihoods. On its part, we call upon the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to speedily investigate and ensure action on corruption cases in land registries in which innocent Kenyans are being robbed of their property through falsification and forced disappearance of records. On our part as a church, we will upscale the use of church facilities as training and demonstration sites to promote agriculture.
He also urged all Kenyans to be vigilant on the use of electricity, as according to a recent report given by Kenya Power, over 90 Kenyans have lost their lives due to electric shock.
A county, as a region, we have also noticed that the records held by Kenya Power Company indicate that more than 90 people have died in electricity-related accidents so far this year. So we call upon our people to use electricity safely. If this trend holds, we are likely to lose more people this year to electricity-related accidents than we did last year. We appeal to all Kenyans to exercise safety when using electricity. Take into consideration that most accidents arise from illegal connections, faulty wirings in houses, and operating beneath power lines. To not take unnecessary risks, we strongly recommend that people in this region and all over the country only engage licensed electricians to do wiring in their houses. Ensure that electricity supply to their premises and houses are connected by Kenya Power and Lighting Company itself. And then avoid putting up buildings underneath power lines. On our part as NCCK, we continue to use our platforms and structures to educate people to use electricity. We urge all residents of Nyanza region and the entire country to take to mind the word of God recorded in Deuteronomy 16, verse 20. Follow justice and justice alone, so that you may live and possess the land the Lord your God is giving you.
Media One International, always fast and fast. Like, share, and subscribe.